for me to stand at this podium and be the voice for 24,000 New York City police officers, proud police officers that are here today chanting USA, chanting Trump for president, and they mean it each and every time they say it. Mr. President, it's obvious where you hold the NYPD in your heart. We heard the news this morning that you got some family news that your brother had fallen ill. And naturally we thought, well, we may have to postpone this. The president may not be able to come. And then our phones rang, and we were told that the president will visit his brother, and then he will visit with you. That's where he puts you. New York City police officers and family. That's the type of president we have. Mr. President, what we all have in common here today is that we all have a police officer's shield in our hip pocket. We all have friends and family that are here to support you. And more importantly, in this crowd is our family members too. The ones that worry what happens when their loved one takes that last step off the stoop and goes to work and they know they may not come back. And we know you understand that, Mr. President, because you're constantly, always loud about the support for New York City police officers. Mr. President, the city you helped build, the borough where your father started in South Jamaica, is sliding back. The borough in which you build so many skyscrapers was just recently looted. Our city is sliding back because the mantra, the false narrative that not only City Hall, the second floor in the State House, and those that want to become president are passing this false narrative that New York City police officers and law enforcement are evil. How absurd is that? That they blame us for society's ills. Well, let me tell you this, Mr. President, I know you know that. The most compassionate people on the face of the earth are New York City police officers. Mr. President, if you look at the crime numbers in New York City, we're sliding back where we're at shootings. We're at shooting levels back to 1993. That's because of that narrative against the police officers. That's where they're handcuffing our members. That's where they're saying if you take a bad guy off the street, that you will go to jail. Now that's the upside down world. So what we can't do is let that attitude spread beyond the city, beyond the State House, and go to the White House, Mr. President. So we're here today for a reason that you understand, to support not only New York City police officers, but law enforcement across this country. And this is not new for you, Mr. President. You do it always. See, the sign of a leader is someone that'll stand at a podium like this and speak the truth and will say what needs to be said and not be afraid to do it. Well, we're seeing leaders in our state that are following the crowd, Mr. Mayor. Mr. President, what they're doing is not only following marches, they're following rioters. They're trying to catch up and do whatever they can to make sure they're happy. I oftentimes wake up and say, who are they listening to? They're not listening to the folks in the neighborhoods that we patrol. They're not listening to the folks that say, we want police on our streets and we want to respect them. So today, Mr. President, there's two things that we'd like to do. We'd like to present you with a statue that means so much to New York City police officers. This statue, we do not hand out lightly. This statue is very special to New York City police officers for what it represents. This is a police officer standing tall and proud with his hand on the shoulder of a child. Now, that child represents not only a little boy, not only a little girl, but a crime victim, someone that needs our help, someone that was victimized. That's what police officers do every day in this country, in this city, in this state. They stop. They put their hands. They give them comforting words, the compassionate words that helps everyone. Mr. President, we know that you hold police officers in high esteem. So there's not many of these that are given out. But we're giving it to you today, Mr. President. We hope that you can put this in a prominent spot and that people that can see it and realize that those that are in the mob that are tearing down what we do, our profession, has a supporter in the Oval Office that understands what this stands for. Mr. President, it's my honor.
How does the Oval Office for that sound? Okay, good.
Mr. President, I said we have two things to present to you. And we presented this special statue. But we also have some practical work to do because there's an election that we're in the midst of. So I'm here to say this. Number one, I have 36 years on this job, 21 as the president of this fine organization. I cannot remember when we've ever endorsed for the office of President of the United States until now. That's how important this is. Mr. President, we're fighting for our lives out there. We don't want this to spread to the rest of the country. We need your strong voice across the country to say we have the support of law enforcement across this country. Now, many times people say that a union like ours, law enforcement groups, give endorsements. Not in the New York City PBA, sir. In the New York City PBA, Mr. President, you earned the endorsement, and you've earned this endorsement. I'm proud to give it.